Hi.
And now we are recording.
Now we're recording. And also, I'm still weirded out about my new haircut.
We're all talking about hair.
Anyway, welcome to Happy Hour with Ruth.
And Roxy. We're happy to see you.
We are happy to see you because it's Happy Hour.
It is Happy Hour.
Right? What do we got, Rox?
Well, first of all, I don't even know if we should announce what we're drinking because
you all know.
You all know, right?
Yep, you all know.
Stoneboat Bubbles.
Stoneboat Bubbles. Cheers!
It's just the
Cheers.
loveliest.
It is the loveliest.
And also, you can see behind us, we've got sunshine. And we've got
It's
warmth.
really sunshine.
Yeah. We had some family over yesterday, and we got to sit outside on our back patio.
They had family over. Just when she says we, it's not always we. Right? You sat in the back patio.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good thing.
Which we rarely use it. Shouldn't say never, but now that the dogs are reliable back there, we can be out there a bit more.
That's awesome.
We don't leave.
Nope, that's very awesome.
Yeah.
And you have lovely jewelry?
I do have lovely jewelry. They are nothing noteworthy because nobody made them for me. Sometimes I wear the ones you gave me. It's tangled up already.
Our life is tangled. So I made this. I made one of these for my sister and I just after Jimmy Buffett died, and the little medallion says "Bubbles Up" because that was the last song he recorded before he died. So yes, but I love this one.
It's a good song, and those colors are your colors.
They are my colors,
and it goes perfectly with your outfit.
Because I'm a mermaid.
You are all just on.
I'm on because you know what happens when you get a new short haircut? You become self-conscious about everything. Holy man.
Yes, that's true. That's true. I love your hair.
Well, we're getting
you do
there.
short hair really well.
Oh, thank you.
Although
you know what, my face might suit short hair, but I don't necessarily do it well because you have to put stuff in it.
Well, and it's true.
And I'm just not good because I put like a little tiny spray and it's like that's enough. That's it, and then it falls and it's like I have to put more.
See, my problem. This is why.
See, Bradley. Wait, I have to tell. So our hairstylist Bradley did this, maybe under protest, because I've been asking for this cut for a while, and she's like, "Your hair's too straight. It's not going to work." But look, I have stuff in it.
Yeah. Well, I think sometimes though they look at lifestyle and what they know you're going to do.
Bradley for sure does.
She does. She's really good at that.
She made me buy a hot iron, but she didn't make me. She said you need the flat iron thingy, whatever it is. And she's like, "Here's what you can do." And I'm sitting there, and it's like. She said, you can use your flat iron. I think is what she said in my head. It's like, I guess I'm going to Shoppers Drug Mart after this because I don't have one.
That's funny. A flat iron is a good tool, I'll have to say.
Yeah.
But, that's why I think for so many years, and I still tend to let my hair grow because, I want to ponytail it when it's hot or clip it off my face, clip it up. And you can't do that with short hair. You have to.
You wear a hairband.
Yeah, that's true.
But you have to be ready to wear a hairband because that pulls your hair
exactly.
You're very exposed.
Yeah, you're very exposed that way. Although, I had my hair long when you guys first moved here and it almost always was in a ponytail or up, and you're really exposed when your hair is all tied up too. But you don't have to do anything to it.
Right.
Like I would get up, shower, clip it up or, tease it, make a cool bun out of it and then forget about it. And I didn't use it. It was way easier. Yeah, it was actually way easier. Now this is day 2, so I didn't wash it this morning. It looked better yesterday, but
it looks pretty good.
So I can get away with it. And if I'm just like
you
gardening,
have thick hair, right?
I do have a lot of hair, yeah. But I kind of miss just being able to ponytail it and go.
Yeah.
But the downside is trying to look like a grown-up.
Well, and I find, because I did during COVID, right? I grew my hair long. I didn't have any choice because you couldn't get it cut. But I grew it, and it was always like around here, but it got long enough for a ponytail and stuff. And I really feel like that aged me. And also, I couldn't get it highlighted or anything because COVID. So the grays are coming in, and they're not purposeful grays. Yeah. Whereas if you're going to a stylist and you're letting it grow out, they're doing the things you need. And for me, because if I didn't highlight my hair, I would have been gray at 30. My dad was gray really young.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
And so for me, the way it was growing in it wasn't being managed, and it was changing the texture of my hair.
Yes, it changed.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you know what? Somebody told me, this is years going back, and I don't have a lot of gray. Like this is highlighted here, but this is just all natural. There's tons of gray in there, but it doesn't look as gray. Like it's very scattered. Right. And the highlighting really hides it. But what I have is lots of these little zzz, they're really short and they just look crimped.
Right.
Because
it's the texture.
It's the texture. But I was probably in my 20s, maybe 30s, and a hairdresser told me, yeah, you know what? It's like you have pubes on your head. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I wanted to hear. That's really, really what I wanted to hear.
That's pretty funny.
But that is kind of that coarse,
Right.
really crinkly kind of texture.
We get to the heart of things here on Happy Hour with Ruth and Roxy.
That's kind of what gray hair does, right? So
yeah.
You're right. It changes the texture, and
and it's not that I don't have gray hair under here. It's just that whatever the highlights, right?
Yes.
The highlights changes. It puts whatever it is back into it, right?
Or it just damages the crap out of it, so that. Because it does, like you can do more with it once it's been treated and wrecked. You know, like Briley says, wreck it with damage it with your streaks, and then cut it short. And sure, you'll get curls. Anybody will get some kind of curls that way, right?
Except me.
Clearly, you've got enough.
I have enough,
right?
I have enough. It's quirky enough,
yeah.
But it's not quite. But it is an interesting thing to think about haircuts, just in general. When you get a good haircut or you're having a good hair day, you do feel really great. And when you're having a bad one, it really hits your confidence, right? Your self-esteem, and it's a really funny thing for those of us who, as soon as I had long hair, I had it in a ponytail and didn't give a good crap, right? For those of us who would do that, and then it's like you get a haircut and you're like, oh, it's a bad day.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's this disconnect somehow.
It is. It is weird. Yeah.
But yes. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today, Rox?
Oh,
I see you have a list of books. You always have a list of books.
Yeah, that's my list of books from last week.
Okay, that's okay. I have something to talk about that I'm finding quite interesting.
Okay. Because,
in my job and in life, you deal with all sorts of people. And one of the things I've kind of noticed is sometimes kids act like they're little brats in the sandbox, right? Like there are times when someone stops talking to you and you don't know why.
So sometimes some
people,
adults,
adults, right? Adults, right? Like, and just like you don't, and it's not a ghosting thing where you have to look at what you've done, but it's like from one day you're talking and the next day you did something that they perceive as wrong, and the reaction feels over the top a little bit, right? Or it's a colleague at work, I don't know, does something, or I've seen it where a neighbor got a new car and not recently, but got a new car that somebody else had wanted and was going to get someday but hadn't got it, and they were like, you stole that from me. Right? Or kids, young people, when they first have babies, I've seen siblings get pissed because the person takes the baby name this person right? And it's like, I started wondering, what is it that reverts us back to that like kid in the sandbox thing when you're adults and you can like you're really good at like, oh, I can see both sides of that, and here's the thing and all that. But what takes it so far that you have a shouting match with somebody? You know what I mean? Or
I can tell you a shouting match I had with a stranger.
Right.
And I don't think I've talked about this on the podcast, and it's not that big a deal. But I was having a bad day, and the bad day was related to family stuff, and I was feeling very burdened with. I was frustrated. I was trying to do something for someone. It wasn't working. I wasn't appreciated. I was feeling really. I was super. All of my childhood wounds were coming out.
Right.
And I happened to be in Costco. Did I tell you this?
No.
I happened to be in Costco, and I was. It's that feeling of I'm doing everything I can, and it's not enough, and it's still wrong, and I don't know how to do it better, and I just want. I want to be. I want to do this thing right, and I can't. And I was I was beyond. Yeah. And so I'm in Costco, and I'm, the carts in Costco, right? And I'm going down and I'm really careful. I stick to the side and I watch for people to see if anybody's trying to get what I'm standing in front of. And I was going around a corner, and there were a couple of women also shopping, and they had their cart right in the middle of the row. Yep. And I'm coming around with mine, and they weren't paying attention. They were chatting with each other. You and I have probably done the same thing in Costco. I don't know.
No, we split up in Costco.
We do. It's true. And so as I went around, I'm trying to edge around, and they're kind of in the way, and I kind of bumped their cart. And normally I would have been like, oh, I'm so sorry. Yep. But because of because I was already feeling super unappreciated and not successful in what I was trying to do, I thought, you know what, I am tired. I am tired of apologizing. I am tired of being the one who's always making the effort and no one else is. So I just bumped it, and I went on going. And I heard them behind me go, that's so rude. And then as we came around, of course, we passed each other. Right? And so we passed, and I just didn't say anything. And I heard them also make another comment. So I turned around, and I unloaded on this woman. And I said, I said, you have no idea the kind of day I've had. I have done this and I've done this and I'm dealing with this and I'm super worried about this. And you could have moved your cart and you didn't. And yep, I could have said, excuse me, and I didn't. You know what? Maybe next time, before you open your mouth, just think about what someone else might be experiencing. Oh, I was crying, everything. Like, and I saw their eyes get wide like that, and they both stepped back. I'm so sorry. Like, and I said, thank you. Yeah. And I walked away, and then I went into the clothing aisle and I burst into tears.
Yeah. but see,
like, so that was me acting. I threw the tantrum. But
wait. There's more to that.
Well, sure. But
we have barky dogs.
Oh, that's my dog. Oh, my husband's home. That's why.
Yeah. And our dogs are just talking to them.
Yep. That would be. Neil and Zoe sound the same. They have this
big barks.
Big dog bark.
They don't sound like Scruffy with his terrier.
Scruffy and Luna sound the same.
Yeah.
They talk back and forth. So I'm usually yelling at somebody, and then it turns out to be the wrong one. But
it's usually Scruffy.
We had back. This is going back quite a few years. We had a veterinarian working for us who was extremely good with clients, really, really excellent bedside manner. And he had a way with the bad clients, the people who were, and clients tend to be, if they're going to behave badly, they do it to the front staff.
Right.
They don't do it to the doctor.
Right.
So, it's like, why are they late? I've been waiting here. And then they get into the doctor. Hi, doctor.
Yeah.
Used to drive me crazy. But he would go into the exam room, and if he was getting any of that vibe from someone, he would stop and he would say, have I done something to upset you? Or were you in a bad mood when you came in?
Yeah.
And he said it always took them aback, and they stopped, and they almost always apologized and said, oh, yeah, you know what? Like my kid has been whatever, my son, whatever, something, I was
or
just
I'm worried
diagnosed,
about my pet, or
exactly,
like all,
something.
But that's a good way to disarm it, right?
Exactly, that's what it did. It disarmed them, and it checked them, and it brought them back, and then they could go on. But he didn't just accept it,
right?
Or he didn't take it personally, and react. And I often think about that. I'm not good at that, but
that's a big one, and that's like I try really hard, and it doesn't always work. But like if I've got somebody who's, I don't know, a grocery store, and the person checking you through is cranky or something, right? Is usually I'll be like, it's really busy. Hey, that must be hard.
Yes.
Right. Like I try. It's easier to do when you don't have baggage between you. Though.
Yes. Oh,
like
for
it's
sure.
like with friends.
Yeah.
And stuff. They can do something, and it's a little bit of I forget. It was in some sitcom, but it was like somebody ordered pizza and they had anchovies on the pizza, and the person freaked out about and it's like, well, how can we possibly be friends? And it had nothing to do with the anchovies,
right? Yeah.
Right. It was like that this person had never sort of remembered the stuff about their friend, and it's like, but it all, like, it can all gather because we're not taught, at least in my world I wasn't, to say to friends, this is an issue. Like I'm having challenges with this, right?
Yeah.
And to be able to bring it out until it builds into something where they become, or if it's something, I think, one of the things that happens a lot, and I'm sure others see it, is that if they feel like you have an authority over them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is then they get really pissy about stuff because why couldn't you fix it for them?
Right.
Right. Like I'm sure police officers get it all the time when you can't fix a ticket or something. Right. Yeah. It's like, well, come on. What? It's the perceived I'm right and you're wrong, instead of how do we come together, right, to find a solution to this. And it's really hard for us. And like one of the things I was looking at is when I thought about this topic was I was looking at why do we devolve to that so quickly, right? And so, of course, one of the things, especially when it's big hurt people, right? Or if somebody's feeling powerless or they're fearful about something. And fearful could be, or embarrassed, right?
Or unheard.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as a communications professional, I'm always driving that home where people are like, but, the whole team can't make that decision. You're right, but they need to feel heard, and maybe by hearing them, you'll come up with an idea that actually, it's a little bit like when, what's going on in Alberta, and the premier there is planning all the education stuff that all of the school teachers and everybody in education thinks is horrible, and it's like, why don't you listen to the experts?
Yeah.
Right, and then people, but you lash out when you're not feeling valued.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
and yet sometimes if for me it's like. I think you have to get told if you're overstepping, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're really fortunate. You guys on one side, and we have our friends Bev
Yeah.
and Rob on the other side, right? And we always say, hey, we're going to do this to the lawn. Can we do this, right? And like, they take beautiful care, way better care of their lawn, because like they are dedicated to it, right? But like at one point, Bev came over and she's like, I want to put flowers along this tree that kind of falls in between us, right? And she's like, is that okay? You know what I mean? Like, that's all
perfect.
you need,
It's
right?
perfect. Yeah.
And honestly, it's flowers, so why wouldn't you be okay? But the other thing is, all you need is for somebody to ask, right? Or to say, hey, or be able to say, I'm having a hard time with whatever this whatever's just happened.
Yeah.
But we can't. Like all this talk is all good in theory, but there's lots of times I haven't been able to do it.
Oh, you have. I would say that you are good at that. You've done it with me, and I've done it with you as well.
Yeah.
And that's really hard, because we know what's at stake.
Right.
But also you have to do it because we know what's at stake.
Well, that's just it. But I also think we have a baseline of trust and respect.
Yeah.
Right, is I think what's important. And that's another important thing to say.
Yeah.
We get along really well, but there are times when it's like, hey, this isn't working.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And I think it's really, that's a really important, because that's mutual respect and trust, right? And you can't always have it with acquaintances.
Yeah.
Or with somebody, it's
Although
like,
this last one, it's it. You're moving. Bye-bye. You're out of here. It's over, man.
yeah, okay. We're stuck together. We got married in a secret ceremony.
We did, yes. So I was going to talk about some. So I have a new Apple Watch. Still learning how to use it. Oh, my daughter is just sending me a message, and I'm going to ignore it, because that's what I can't stand about Apple Watches, is the constant onness. But so I'm trying to fill out the necessary data, and my husband.
Oh, it's a little snappy dog.
Oh, she is so snappy. This is why Neil loves it when Zoe comes over, because, as my husband says, he can play with somebody without getting bitched out all the time. Zoe loves him. Anyway, so I'm trying to fill in the health data, because my husband wanted me to have this so that it would keep track of my heart rate, right?
Yep.
And, okay, that's great. So I'm filling in the data. I'm like, first of all, how much of my data do I want out there in the universe?
Especially these days.
Don't love that.
Yeah.
But also, if you're going to have an Apple Watch for the biometrics part of it, you might as well use it. So anyway, so I'm, putting in the meds I'm on and how much I weigh and all that stuff. And then,
okay, that would send me into a fetal position in the corner.
That.
Yeah.
But also, it's just data. Also, it's just a fact about you.
Yeah.
So why are we...
But we have that thing, right?
But we have that thing. So anyway, it's asking me if I want to do a little mental health assessment. And I'm like, no, not at all. And then I thought...
Don't they know that happy hour is our mental health assessment?
But it's also connected with... So what I decided to let it do is track my sleep, because I'm not a good sleeper.
Yeah.
And... okay.
But she has very long eyelashes, just saying. They're very long.
Well,
we'll have to take a close-up.
I ran out of my my Latisse a little while back, and so what happens is you get a week or two where some, depending on where in the life cycle the hair is, start to fall out, and then I got it again, and so then I started up, and so then they start growing back.
Right.
But now they're off cycle, so I've got some that are really long and
they
some that are
all
short
look
and
pretty
spiky.
long, just saying.
So anyway, I'm doing this mental health assessment, and it's asking me, things like, have you felt extremely worried or something? Like, there's different how many times this week, like once a few times this week, or all the time, or right? So I'm doing this. So at the end of it says you are mildly anxious and mildly depressed. I'm like, well, that tracks. That's
also tell me something I don't know.
It's pretty baseline. I just burped on screen.
That's why I love her.
So I'm like, that's pretty baseline.
Are you going to edit that out? I think you should leave it in.
I'm leaving that in. I don't think I can edit that out. And then I thought, you know what I think that means? I think I'm restless. I have a certain, this used to happen to me my husband always said it happened to me in fall, because I always wanted to go back to school. And I do love school. And so I would get that feeling in fall. And it's obviously spring now, not fall. So it's not that, but I know that I'm a little bit stuck with my writing right now. Like, I want to move on to the next thing, but the next thing isn't quite there. I'm a little restless, because I you know, like I've had lots of time with my kids lately, but now I want more time with my kids.
Right.
And my kids are an hour and a half to 2 hours away. So that's frustrating. But I love where I live. I don't really want to move, but I also want to be closer to my kids. And it's like,
it's all unsettled.
So it's unsettled. It's like, am I restless? What can I do about this? What is the problem exactly? I don't exactly know what the problem is, but I know that there's something not quite balanced.
Right.
And so I'm like, yeah, damn it, a little anxious, a little depressed.
Yeah.
Don't know what to do about it.
But I mean, I think part of that is just the state of the world.
Oh, that absolutely plays.
But it is also, especially now, you know, you've got these lovely grandchildren that, you know, some are old enough to, you know, they're little humans and they want to know, and you want to cuddle little babies while you can, and there's all this stuff, and it is a drive, and it's especially a drive in summer, right? That's a challenge because traffic is not so
it's
great.
especially bad in summer because of the summer traffic, and then it's especially bad in winter because of the
weather,
windy road and weather right around the lake. So it's always a challenge.
But it's good. But that's an interesting. It would be for you know, anybody in our community to talk about. Are they feeling it now? Now, certainly, I'm feeling unsettled because I don't know where I'm going to be in 6 months.
Yeah.
But there's a specific thing I can attach that
exactly.
to, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it also kind of goes into, you know, one of the things I was talking about is we are at a transitional stage of life, because I was thinking about that for how you see yourself. Right, and what that means as you lean into whatever the next chapter. Because I've always, and still believe this, said that, you know, I would be dangerous having no work. Right, I would online shop.
You're dangerous.
I would day drink. Well, there you go. You know, I would bake too much, and it would just be it would be a problem for a whole bunch of people, including me. But it's also like, you have to start to reevaluate what you want out of life when you hit a certain age or a certain stage of your life.
Certain stage, I think, is more
right.
Yeah, it might be. It's age related, but not age defined.
Yeah.
And
but it's an interesting thing, right? Mm-hmm. We need more cold bubbles, so we should do rock paper scissors to see who gets up so they can see.
I'm gonna get up.
Come on, holy man! I wanted to do rock paper scissors.
I don't actually know how to play it.
Oh, I would teach you. Okay, but if anybody out there wants to talk to us, we would love to hear from you what you're feeling like at whatever stage of life you're in, right? Because that would be really interesting, right?
Oops,
and a little bit like just going back to the pettiness, and, you know, it's like you got to do all the things, but it also goes back to what we talked about a couple of episodes ago, Roxanne, to the let them, right? To the let them.
Oh,
so if somebody is responding poorly without having a conversation with you, and they're responding poorly, honestly, the only control you have is to let them, because you don't have control of their poor behavior.
Yeah.
Right? And so, but it is, I think a lot of this comes from life experience. All of this, including feeling restless, is like, what does this stage of life mean now? How much will you accommodate others when they're being unreasonable?
Yeah.
Right? Like, and it goes back to the small stuff, I think. Like, somebody who doesn't move their cart, or doesn't move out of your way, or can't say, or they bump into you.
Yeah.
And what I do is immediately apologize, because that's just right. But then or they walk by you and they bump you and they say nothing, or they look at you like you're in their way. And it's like, now, before I'd just be like, oh my God, that's awful. And at this stage of life, it's like, you know, excuse me works. Right?
Yeah.
Because I'm tired of people taking advantage of the fact that I am not a conflict-driven person, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, and there is, it's hard because there's overlapping things happening here, right?
Yeah.
And some of it, for me, has to do with female empowerment.
Yeah.
Looking at a world of patriarchy and misogyny that we've been brought up with, and brought up to believe is acceptable and okay.
Yeah.
And then getting to this day, and for me, it all started when I had girls.
Yeah.
And I realized I cannot raise my girls to believe these things.
Yeah.
And then I had to check myself, because I acted out all the things that I grew up with. And same with my mother and her mother before that. It's
the things they go into this unconscious level.
Oh,
right?
100%. Yeah. Yeah. So when you get, so I wonder how I would have reacted if I'd been in Costco and it was a man with his cart who was in the way. Would I have had the guts to go off on him like that too?
Hey?
I don't think I would have.
Yeah.
I'd like to say that I would, but I don't think I would have.
Right.
Because so so would that, and then what would that mean? Would that mean that I'm afraid to confront men? I definitely have problems confronting males, for sure. That's very much more difficult for me. But also, there is a danger involved.
Yep.
So is it a fear just because he's male, or is it a fear because I know
At some base level.
at a base level that there's a danger involved?
You also grew up in a patriarchal community, right? Like in the church. The church is patriarchal, right? Like the other thing is, I think it's these things. We had a speaker at one of our clients that was talking about unconscious bias. And one of the things she said, which I found really interesting, because she's a big hockey fan,
Okay.
right? And so she was listening to the radio, and they had a female sports expert on, right? Like a newscaster. And she was and she was like the color commentary and all this stuff. And in this woman's head, she said she thought it, and what she thought was, why do they have a woman doing sports? And then she caught herself, right? And she's like, I know more about sports than most of the males in my life.
Okay.
Why the hell would I judge? Why would I
Right.
not take her expertise?
Right.
And these unconscious biases we have.
Oh, yeah.
If you have to be really vigilant to catch them, and you never catch them in the moment,
No.
right?
No.
Like,
No. I mean,
it's an interesting thing, though.
yeah. I mean, the idea of self-awareness and blind spots and all that. Somebody's texting me now. Now it's my husband. I have to answer that. I mean, can't he hear us? Seriously. Yes. The answer is yes.
Yes. Oh, that's
yes.
funny.
Podcasting. Because I can't spell it.
Also, if she's not in the house, you're usually over.
My car is home.
It's like,
My car is home. And
Yeah.
the dogs are there. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not,
funny.
Yeah, I'm not out walking.
Okay, now I have a happier one, because so first of all, I do have to mention the freaking bitch fight that Elon Musk and Trump had on.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Oh,
on X.
let's talk about that.
Oh my God, that was.
I know
that
a little
was,
bit, but now I want to hear the rest
There
of
was like, all of the memes were so freaking funny, and like this, I follow this. I'm gonna forget his name. I'll have to get it, but he calls everybody besties, and I'm pretty sure it was him that said it. And he was like, "This is the best start ever to gay pride."
Oh, yes.
right.
Uh-huh.
Like, and it was just like, because man, they were going at it, and the last I saw it anyway, Elon said Trump is on the Epstein list, and that's why he
Yes.
hasn't released it. And then Trump said he was that maybe how they could save money was to cancel all of Elon Musk's billions of dollars in contracts. And then Elon Musk said, well, we're going to start deservicing it's the shuttle that takes food up to the people on the space station and brings them home. So he's like, I forget what the word he was, but what he meant was they're going to take it out of service. Right? Because they've given him a lot of power. He's the one that will keep there. And I think there's a few, I forget, 4 or 6
That's
astronauts
freaking
up there
terrifying.
right now. It is. He has too much power. He also could turn off his satellite internets in all sorts of regions that would completely screw up the U.S.
Oh, well, that's...
Because he turned it off on Ukraine so that Russia could advance, right? And none of this makes Elon good. Like, he's not coming in as the hero. It's just these two, and that kind of made me think about the tantrums, right? Like, that's what kind of made me, and like, but this is playing out the two most powerful, I would say, men in the world, right? Elon's got all the money, Trump has all the power, right? And it's like they're having this, and it was going back and forth, and so Truth Social, which is not true, full of any truths, but at
Neither
one point,
true nor social.
and at one point there were so many people on it that it crashed the platform, and at that point all you saw was Trump's account, and at the bottom it said no truce, right? And which was really ironic, but it's because you couldn't see any of them, right? But it was like, and this is going to go on because apparently Elon Musk, if it's true, tried to call the White House today and Trump wouldn't take the call. So this is not over, and all the I've never seen so many get your popcorn memes.
Oh
memes.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh,
But it had to happen. You can't have egos that big. But that's what kind of, twigged my, holy man, they're having tantrums in full public view.
Yeah. And at that level of power and influence in the world,
Yep.
like it has been ridiculous up until now what's been happening. But now, but
They did the things behind closed doors.
they did the things
right?
behind closed doors, and they were on the same side, which doesn't make it makes it worse.
But it wasn't in public. They weren't.
Yeah.
They were fighting democracy as opposed to fighting each other.
Yes,
right?
exactly. And now they're still fighting democracy, and they're fighting each other. It's like, how do you possibly think you're accomplishing anything?
Yep. I don't think, well, and it's now because Elon knows stuff, right? And he has, Trump has said things about Elon helped him win in Pennsylvania. He won in a lot of swing states, but Elon knows stuff. And I don't want to sound like a crazy conspiracy theorist, but if anybody was going to rig election and change votes, Elon would be the one who would have, not him, but he would have the people that could do it, right? The tech savvy on his team to do it.
Sure.
So if this goes really far, what if he came out and he said, we fix the election?
Yeah.
Right? Because that would put the U.S. into freaking turmoil.
Yeah.
Right? So it is, but it is.
Oh, that's interesting.
It is very, because Elon knows where the bodies are buried.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he's got enough money. Also, all he has to do, if the U.S. gets to vote in the primaries, which I think is 2026, all he has to do is back a bunch of people, right? Put all the money behind him because he can put so much money in advertising and make their names known. And that's what the average voter is not as informed as I think people should be, right? They just go with the name they know.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So
it's really hard to be informed. It's really,
and it's really hard to be accurately informed.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Wow.
Nope, it's true.
But that, you're right. You're right. That is get your popcorn, indeed.
But that's like it's just insane.
And also hope that it's funny enough that it's not going to result in you losing your house, losing your health insurance, losing your job, World War III. Like there's the small, because it's affected so many people already really badly. Yeah. And it could affect.
It could affect more. It could be. I mean, more. Remember Trump's got the nuclear codes, right? Like it's a thing. But we will definitely keep you posted, because I have to say, I don't think I've heard from people that I don't talk to all the time. But yesterday it was like, every 20 minutes, did you see this? Did you see this? Did you? Right? It was just like people were like glued to it. Okay, we'll give a little update about Jimmy Kimmel.
Yes.
Crickets. Anyway.
Crickets.
What we want to do. So
I'm going to add the cricket sound.
Okay, could you do it?
I can do that.
Can you really?
I can.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant you were going to do the cricket sound like you did that goose. The Canadian goose.
I can't do. No, I don't know how to do that. But I can add cricket sounds.
Okay, so we thought we'd do some translations for Jimmy in case he ever decided to have us on. He could understand some Canadianisms.
Jimmy's still going to have us on.
He is going to. We have faith.
You know what? Here's how this might end.
Here's how it ends. Me and her going off a cliff because Jimmy didn't call us back.
Thelma and Louising it.
Yep.
No, eventually he'll be like, you know what? These two are so cool. I'm just going to have them on the show. I'm going to fly them out here. Where is he?
We won't go. No, L.A.
Yeah, we're not going to
have
LA.
Him on. He can come here and do
an
Zoom episode.
He can Zoom us in.
Or him and his lovely wife.
They can come here.
Whose name I believe is Molly, who I think is really funny. And I believe she's got to be funny. She's a writer, or was a writer on the show anyway. Okay. They could come here, and we could do a little satellite thing. We could. There's the thing. Okay, so.
Oh, we would not be allowed across the border.
Oh no, and also
I'm okay with that.
Yep, I'm okay too.
I am fine with that.
Okay,
no interest.
So let's talk about some words, Roxanne, and we'll see if you know
words.
them.
I love words.
Some words.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna sit up straight like a student. I'm gonna fix my shirt.
Okay, like a student. Okay, what's the Canadian tag on for sentences? So if I said nice day, what would be at the end of that sentence?
Nice day, A.
Yeah. See, A. What's the knitted winter hat that we wear?
Oh, it's a toque.
It's a toque, Jimmy.
It's a toque. T-O-Q-U-E, or possibly T-U-Q-U-E.
Yes, I have both of those
both
there,
spellings.
so that's right.
Both are accepted.
Yeah. What's a double-double?
Oh, a double-double is when you go through Tim Hortons and you get 2 creams and 2 sugars in your coffee.
And it's really good, and it's whipping cream.
Yeah. I mean, I do not drink double-doubles. I just drink double cream. I don't want my coffee sweet.
Right. And no offense, Timmy's, but their coffee, because I like coffee black, but their coffie black sucks. So you have to have, for me, I got to have double-double because I can't.
Yeah. I never drink coffee black, but there's double cream. It's good.
Yeah, because it's whipping cream they use.
That helps.
Yep. Okay, what's a loonie?
A loonie is a $1 coin.
Yep. What's a toonie?
A toonie is a $2 coin.
Right. What do we call napkins?
Well, either serviettes. Is that serviettes?
Serviettes.
Yeah, serviettes.
Yep.
Oh, well, in my world, it's paper towels, but...
Right, yeah, mine too, actually. So what do we call a couch?
I grew up calling that a Chesterfield.
Ding, ding. And what do we say? We don't say, I have to pay the electric bill. What do we say?
Have to pay the power bill or the hydro bill?
Hydro bill.
Hydro,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, what do we call like a soft drink?
Oh, it's pop.
Pop.
We don't
Okay.
call it soda pop.
No.
We call it pop.
Or soda. We call it
Or
pop.
it's just
right?
pop. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, what's a beaver tail?
Oh, beaver tail is a delicious piece of fried bread, like flat bread.
Yep.
Deep fried though.
Often with cinnamon sugar.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Here's a good one. What's the difference between Smarties in Canada and the U.S.?
Does one of them have blue Smarties? Is it a color
Oh.
thing?
No, we actually have like it's got with chocolate and the coating. That's
Yeah.
our Smarties. Theirs are like what we would call rockets,
What?
which are those
What's it?
those powdery Vibe, which we both have on today. Vibe sometimes sends you little rockets. They're those little. They look like they're round Pez kind of.
Oh, they call those Smarties?
We call them they call those Smarties.
They call those Smarties.
Yeah.
That's not Smarties.
No.
Oh, that's wrong. That's wrong. They cannot have Smarties for that.
Well, I don't know if we sent them Smarties in the care package. I hope you got
To Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah. So what's poutine?
Ooh, poutine is a little bit of culinary heaven. It is French fries with gravy and curd cheese. Like
Yep. It's got to be curd if it's
it's got to be
going
curd,
to be poutine.
and then it gets melted and stringy.
Oh, it's really
and
good.
It's gooey and just.
But it's got to be. You can make knockoffs, and I have with shredded cheese. But if it's real poutine, it's got to have cheese curds.
Yeah, cheese curds.
Okay.
I
Tell us.
still have cheese curds in my fridge. I don't know if they're
still have to
past
make
their
poutine.
best before date, but
It's cheese. It ages. Aged cheese is good, right, people? Okay. Nanaimo bar.
oh, again, another piece of heaven. Do they actually originate in Nanaimo?
Yes. According to my online research, which
This was the treat when I was growing up, and they're made of a base.
they're made of sugar.
It's a dessert bar.
It is a dessert bar, but it's also
it's
like
a base with graham crumbs
so
and
much
chocolate
sugar it makes your teeth
and
hurt.
coconut, and then a middle layer that's kind of a custardy.
Yeah.
It's got
but it's kind
custard.
of a structured custard. Like it's not.
Yes.
It's not as soft as
and
what
it's,
I would
it's
consider
yellow
custard.
or creamy
Yeah.
color, and then
Yeah.
there's a coating of
Yeah.
like a ganache chocolate
Yeah.
on top. Oh,
It's very
the
sugary.
base is my favorite part.
Yeah.
It's the coconut, and is there oatmeal in there?
I don't know. I'm not sure I've ever had
It's-
a Nanaimo bar.
What?
They're full of sugar, and it gives me restless leg.
Well, 100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Butter
no,
tart.
butter tart. They're my favorite. That's probably my favorite
And
thing
they
in the world.
so I make them now, and I use maple syrup instead of whatever the thing that's bad for you that we used to make them with. I forget what corn syrup, right? But they do have butter in them. But I can remember saying to I don't know my grand niece when she was about 6 years old or something, and I said I'd make her a butter tart tower because I make good butter tarts, and I thought she'd like it. And she's like, I'm not eating a butter tart. Like, because she thought it was just a tart made of butter.
What?
Right? Like they didn't know what it was.
What?
Right? It was really interesting to me, yeah.
Oh, but I mean,
Yeah.
a butter tart, it's basically like if you know what pecan pie is,
But better.
it's definitely better. And
It's gooier.
It's gooier. And the best one, I mean, there's all sorts of
They
controversy.
don't have raisins.
In my world, they have raisins.
When I make them, I put raisins in hers.
Yes,
Just saying.
I always make two kinds. I make raisins with raisins and without raisins. And I have made them with coconut. And
Yes.
I've made them with a little...
Walnuts?
Walnuts, yes, walnut or pecans.
Yep.
Or a little dollop of raspberry jam in the
Ooh,
middle.
that's
Also
interesting.
delicious. And not classic
Right.
butter tarts, but because we have in my family some people that like raisins are very polarizing.
Yes,
my kids
they
all
are.
like it. They're like, that's the... But yeah, no, some people do
Anyway, what's a kerfuffle?
not. A kerfuffle?
Yes.
This is not food, right?
No, it's nowhere off food.
Oh no, kerfuffle is when you're flustered and upset about something. It's a little foofera.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, well, that was a kerfuffle. Right?
I often call it a cufuffle, which is not correct, but also kerfuffle.
But she's from the prairies.
Is kerfuffle a word? Is it in the dictionary now? I think I actually looked it up once.
I think it is.
Yeah.
What's a keener?
Oh, I think you and I were both keeners.
Yeah.
You're just somebody who is like, me. Well, I didn't ever volunteer the answer, but
Yeah.
it's somebody who knows the answer and thinks they know.
Who's
the
eager
right
and
thing.
enthusiastic,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
What's a hoser?
A hoser, that's a very prairie thing. A hoser comes from the Excellent Adventure, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, I think.
Bob and Doug McKenzie, maybe.
Bob and Doug.
Yep.
What did I say?
Bill and Ted. Which is true, because they were like,
Was Bill and Ted
Bill and Ted was
That was
Keanu Reeves.
Oh, okay.
And I forget who the other actor is.
So maybe
but
Bob and Doug
Bob and Doug McKenzie were the hosers, eh?
They were the hosers, eh?
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know what it means exactly, but it's just a couple of
It's a Canadian. They have toques and red plaid jacket, like flannels on.
Yeah.
Okay, what does it mean to giver?
Giver, like put on the gas, stomp on it.
Yep.
That's a Canadian thing.
Yep. Okay, so
giver. It's why we win hockey games.
That's true. That's true. And they're playing tonight.
Yes.
Yes, they are. So let's see. Okay, the other one is I bet you this is. Every Canadian has said this in a grocery store. I'm just going to deke around you.
Oh, yeah. Just
Means
a little deke.
Go around you.
And that probably comes from hockey also.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right? Yep. For sure. Just gonna edge around.
See, Jimmy, we could inform your readers. We could translate the Canadian stuff,
all.
right?
Also,
we do. We know
look
the
at
things.
us.
Look at us.
Like, come on.
And we'd make you poutine and butter tarts
Oh.
and Nanaimo. That's what we should send them next.
Oh,
We're not giving up, so there will be another care package coming. So just saying. Anyway. You know, what's it? Other than A, what's the other word Canadians use most often?
Sorry, that one.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Damn it. Canadian, female.
Oh yeah.
Of a certain age.
Yeah.
So I'm trying not to say sorry these days.
Me too. Yep. Nope. Us too. Okay. Let's.
Well, I did pretty good. I passed as a
That
Canadian.
was really good. You sure did. That's pretty good.
I should pass as a Canadian.
Let's talk about flowers.
Oh, let's talk about flowers. So you planted flower seeds.
I did. Wildflowers. They're starting to come up.
I know. They poked up so fast. So you kind of inspired me. I have had flower seeds in my shed that have been in there, or they might have been upstairs. I can't remember because I have gardening stuff kind of like wine in my house. It's kind of like some of it's here, some of it's there, some of it's there. So I found my seeds and I planted them outside, and then I forgot to water them until today. So we'll see what happens. But your flowers are coming up, and I know what they're going to look like because you did this last year and the year before.
No, I think just last year.
Okay.
But yeah, they're really beautiful. It's all these wildflowers, and my sister actually sent me some of hers. Are already coming up.
Okay.
So she's on Vancouver Island, and they've had spring. They seem to get spring earlier than us, and so hers are already blossoming.
What?
Right. So I'll get one of the pictures and we'll put it in the. We'll put it in.
Wow.
But it is really, really beautiful. But one of the things I was thinking because we're showing the house, and when we show the house, we go out and get flowers, which is. It just makes me happy. Like, I'm happy the house is being shown, of course, and stuff. But it just having flowers. And my mom used to say, you know, if you have to give up something else, always try to have, you know, a candle and at least one flower in your house, right? Because that will bring you happiness, right? It brings you joy.
That's nice.
And so I was thinking about it, and I was wondering, is there science behind it? And apparently they're you know, the feel-good chemicals come out. It's, you know, we get dopamine and serotonin and oxytocin from either receiving flowers and it connects us to nature. Like I was starting to look at it, like the visual beauty and the fragrance, and you know, it really is one of those things where it's like, even when I remember, you know, in dealing with my mom's death and my dad's, and I had a younger sister who passed away, and something happened when people sent you flowers in acknowledgement of your grief. Like for me, there was something like, it was the recognition of it, but it was also a little bit of a, you know, look at this beautiful celebration of who this person was, kind of like. And I think even in hard times, flowers help. You know, and I know not everybody, you know, some people are allergic, and not everybody, but you can have them near you. You know what I mean? They don't have to be in your house, and not everybody can get flowers. But getting flowers, I always think about the delivery person that delivers the flowers. That for the most part, they must have a nice job. Right?
Yeah, you think so. Have we talked about the book, The Language of Flowers?
No.
Oh, okay. So I'll just put a little note in here for myself because we have to talk about that one because different flowers mean different things, right? And I've read one book for sure. I think it's called The Language of Flowers, and another one. That's cool. There's a few that have that theme in there, so that's a good thing to talk about another time.
No, and I think that's just it. Like, and I have another one that was, you know, it was something I found on social media. It's from a person named Bianca Sparacino. I hope I got that right, but it's, you know, what she said was, whatever it is that makes you wake up, whatever it is that makes you feel a moment of peace or glimmer of hope, or just keep it close. You know, pay attention to it. You know, sometimes it's the smell in the street. It's the happiness in your cup of coffee. right? And for me, that's what flowers, when you come down, like I come out, in the morning, and honestly, my head is down. The first thing I do is let Chalupa out and pick him up to sit on this couch because he wants outside in the mornings. Scruffy goes in front of the fireplace, and I go make sure he's good. And then my head is down heading for coffee, because that's all I'm thinking about are the tasks I do before I get coffee. And then you pass by flowers. And they and you get a little, right?
A little lift.
Yeah.
Well, there's beauty, there's nature, there's the visual beauty.
Right, and the pretty smell.
And the smell and the freshness. Now, we've talked about this before. I can't have lilies in the house. Because something about that smell, and it is a particularly strong smell. And
it is.
And I am a kind of triggery smell. Smells can trigger me a little bit. Headaches and stuff.
She told me one time the reason we're friends is because I don't smell. She did, right?
We're walking along the back, and I'm like, oh, you know what? Like,
you know what? She said it really like she was going to say something magical about me. And she's like, you know why we're friends? And it's like, oh, why? And she's like, you don't smell.
But like if you wore strong perfume or the wrong deodorant, or if you used fabric softener, that I'd be like, so you seem nice. I'm just going to be over here for the rest of our time together.
As long as we're sitting close by each other, we're good, right? Otherwise, she's going to use smell as an excuse, and she's going to distance herself. It'll be like, we'll have to do Zoom podcasts,
My poor
which
husband.
we're going to do when I move.
Yeah, we will.
But that's not because I smell.
No,
saying.
not because you smell. No. But that's one of those things.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, some people have more sensitive.
I did not. I would say that is something that's happened as I've aged. I think menopause has something to do with it. I don't know. Maybe pregnancy even started it.
Could be, right?
But I and I definitely developed migraines in my 30s and 40s, and those very much were smell triggered.
Right.
So chemical smells and the smells of like spray, and it's not generally flowers are fine except for lilies. I don't know why,
but lilies are strong. Like even
lilies are really strong.
I always worry about lilies because they're poisonous, right? Like I always worry about lilies with the dogs and stuff like that. So I know I've told you this, Rox. So I don't know, it was probably a month ago, and I'm walking around the house, and it's like there's this smell, right? But it smelled like BO, right?
Oh dear,
right? And so I'm like. And so every time, like, I'd smell it, it would be like, what the hell? Like, what? And it would be like, do I, like, and I said, at one point I said to Paul, like, it's like, I thought I had a health issue. Like, it was like, it smelled like, it was like, smell me. And he's just like, no. And so we go through this whole thing.
Really? Oh, come on, Paul.
But that's just it. But so we're, and so
I'll
like,
do it. I'll smell you.
Well, I was
going to
get you to until I discovered. So the whole time I'm like, I'm freaking out because first of all, we're showing the house like for things, and it's like, what the hell? And then it's like, oh my God, I'm dying, right? There's some disease in me that's coming out, right? And then I'm like, and I'm walking around and I'm trying to figure things out, and then I stay in the shower longer and scrub more, and there's a whole thing. And then I realized he had used a sandalwood hand cream.
Yeah.
And
sandalwood
to me, it
is
smells
not,
like BO.
It's not a good smell.
Like it was like, but finally it was like he walked by and he had used a different one that's well, I think is really funny because I was calling it Princess Jasmine because it smells like jasmine. But he walked by and it smelled different, and I was like, every time I smell it, you're in the room, and he's like, what? And I said, it's your hand cream.
It's not me. It's you.
But honestly, I was like for about 24 hours, I was like, oh my God, I'm dying.
Well, I've told you all the incredible pain and effort I've gone through to find a deodorant that my husband's allowed to use.
Right.
And he's like, because he can't smell. And so he's like, I just buy deodorant. I'm like, no, you cannot be in charge of that anymore. I will tell you what you can. He's like, well, you bought it. Yeah, you can't tell in the store. So I just keep buying and testing and throwing out, buying and testing and throwing out until we found one. But
yeah, it's really hard. But it is, and sense of smell is a very important thing. Right?
Did we talk about the book? I know that we talked about the book that I was reading last week called Out of the Clear Blue Sky, I think, by Kristen Higgins, about the woman whose husband left her as her kid, right when their kid graduated from high school. He says he's in love with another woman. He's going to leave her at the end of the summer. And
I don't remember this, but if you talk to me at the end of the bottle of bubbles, that would be a reason why I don't remember it.
I think I told you that one of the things that she did, because
that's Scruffy, just so you know. The dogs are having a conversation.
Zoe or Neo, which sometimes turns like Zio and Noe for me when she's visiting. But so the wife who got left, because her ex-husband immediately married the woman
Right.
that he
Right.
fell in love with. And so she, the wife, the narrative character, lost her mind and started doing things
Oh,
to
this
sabotage
is when she
him.
peed.
Yes. So she put urine in his iron so that his
Right.
clothes smell like pee, and he didn't know that his clothes.
Yep.
She also, so they had, she found a way to get the codes to the new house where her husband was living, and she actually infiltrated their wedding in a way that is just, you got to read the book to get it. But she got into the house and she took a shrimp from the raw bar and she left it in just behind a piece of furniture in the house while they were on their honeymoon. So they came back and their whole house smelled like rotten shrimp.
Oh, yeah.
Like, brilliant.
Oh, it is brilliant and
So-
really freaking nasty.
Really nasty. Oh, it's a great book because the person who's getting, they deserve everything that
Yep.
she does to them, and there's a resolution that is just.
I'm gonna have to read that.
It's a good book. It's a good book.
So I have a friend, a colleague from before, and they moved out to Vancouver, and they were looking to rent in Vancouver, and this is probably a decade ago, but they moved here, and they really wanted this one place, and it was for rent, and it was a good price, and it was a beautiful place, so they knew they'd have competition. Well, when they went to get interviewed, because I think it was like a beautiful suite in like one of the old stately mansions, so you get your own apartment, right? It's separate, but it's like, it's a part of this beautiful heritage home and all the things, right? They knew the landlord person had a cat, so the fellow put fresh shrimp in his pocket, and he threw the jacket out after, but then the cat sat on him and loved him, and so then the person was like, oh, my cat likes you, it'll be you guys.
That's
Right?
really
it's
clever.
really clever, right?
Yeah.
Very clever.
That's smart.
Yep.
That's like, I mean, they do that in movies,
And
right?
also
They want-
devious.
Devious. You want I mean, when I want my dog to eat the food, I throw some grated cheese on it. But,
Yeah.
you know, if you want your dog to love you, just throw some cheese or some
'em cheese.
treats or something in your pocket,
Yep.
and they'll be all over you.
Yep. Nope, that's just it. Okay, so let's now talk about reciprocity and what that means.
Reciprocity. Reciprocity. As an editor, I would say reciprocity is simply the act of someone does something, someone else does something in return. It's an equality thing. It's an
Right.
equal transactional thing.
But see, is it transactional? Because I think we have reciprocity. You make bread and you share it.
Right.
But you don't go, oh, I made her bread last time, so she better give me some banana
Well,
bread.
I'm damn lucky because you feed me way more than I feed you. So
No, but you know what I mean.
There's
Like, to
some
me,
reciprocity, but
there is
mostly
there's
I'm
but,
on
there,
the
but there
receiving
is
end.
because you know, like, for example, you guys came and helped us put things together because
We like doing
sometimes and because you're helping us, because that's not how my mind or Paul's minds really work. Like the give and take
Give
of
me a
all of it.
screwdriver. I am a happy person.
Don't-
I will put furniture together
don't-
forever.
don't.
I love it.
Just saying, don't. But
Love
I
it.
think it's like the giving and I think the thing is like my parents used to always had, and I mean, to be fair, we don't like to go much, but my parents always would have, like, they had this group of friends that they were with, and they would have people over for dinner, and then those people would have them over for brunch or take, like, there was always a return of it, but it wasn't a transactional, oh, you were here, so this.
Right.
But it was always like, oh, you did something nice for me, so, you know, like, we had really good friends on the Sunshine Coast, and I would always, you know, and they have two boys, and the boys were both living at home back then, so when I'd bake stuff or do stuff, I would always deliver it, and I'd deliver extra because they were young men, like they were like 13 and 15 or 17 or something, so they could eat, right? I would do that. But what they did in reciprocity, and it doesn't mean they did it because I did it, but like Miles had a crab license, and they go out and get crab, and they would bring crab over, like a bucket full of crab over to, you know what I mean? Like, but it's like give and take of true.
Yeah.
It for me is the true reciprocity of oh my goodness, I can help you with that.
Yes.
Right?
It's a return. You're right. There's a subtle difference between that and the transactional thing. Because
Like if you do this for me, like and Paul has
now you owe me.
Yeah.
And I need
and
to,
I feel like I owe you.
Yeah.
Right?
It's subtle because the friendship, and it happens in families too. And so here's what I would say.
Well, but it kind of goes back to what you said about Costco, right? You felt like you were giving and giving and giving, and maybe there was no appreciation.
Yes, there was no reciprocity.
Right.
So that was, so we're doing things for our kids, and I often joke and I laugh as I'm doing it, but this is sort of the reciprocity that's going on there.
Right.
We're going to help you move here, and you know, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, because you know what? One day you're going to be looking after us. You're going to be wiping my bum.
Yep.
And have fun with that.
Yep.
And we all, I mean, that's a long game. You know, that's the long thing about having kids. You know, you raise
Doesn't
them.
mean they're
and then,
going to, though.
Well, it doesn't mean they're going to. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But that's at this point, I would say it's likely because we have good relationships with our
but
kids
that's
for
just
the
it
most
because
part.
it's true reciprocity as opposed to we did this for you, you owe me.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Like we had a absolutely amazing. We had last time when we were in Kenya, we had amazing safari guides, right, and stuff. And we had a conversation with one of the fellows who was our guide, and he comes from a local village. And we were asking him, and he had quite a few. I mean, for me, quite a few kids. I think he had like 5 kids.
That's quite a few.
And so I was like, that many kids? And so in my head, I have to admit, I made an assumption about birth control, right? Or something. But what he said was very interesting. He's like, no, I need many because they'll take care of us when I'm older. Mm-hmm. And for him, the way he said it, which is interesting to me because this is not African culture at all. They're all about the collective has to do well, right? Mm-hmm. But he said, I need, you need many to take care of you, right? And so it was interesting to me because that was a little bit, the way he said it felt more practical than, but I love kids, right? There was a strategy there, right? Because one kid will do well and they'll be able to take care of me.
Right, exactly. But I'm looking at, I'm thinking of things that I have read and know of in like 50, 60 years ago. So my information is probably biased, but I think, or not biased, but incorrect, out of date.
Sorry, I jumped.
That was loud.
Yes.
That's good. Okay, I'm going to edit this out.
Yeah, okay. There, I just had to let the plumber in. I'll tell Paul now. The whatever it's called. Okay, keep going.
What did he say is the problem here?
It was the
gasket. It is called the gasket.
No, it's the round thing. It's called the washer. Like it's the big plastic thing that goes around.
Oh, not the seal thing in the door.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all it is.
Okay.
Wait, I have to find Paul in here. I can find you in my text, but I can't find him. Okay.
Well, this goes back to the Poisonwood Bible. Shocking.
Right.
And this was in the 60s and 70s when that book was set in Congo.
Yeah.
I think it's called the Republic of Congo
yeah.
now. But they
the
would
Democratic Republic of Congo,
yes,
and I'm
exactly.
not really sure it is democratic.
Right.
I don't know enough about it.
Yeah. Well, you got to read the book.
Yep.
I mean,
I should read the book.
They have 13 kids in hopes that 2 will survive.
Yeah. Yep, and I mean that's part of it.
Yeah, and also there wasn't birth control at that time.
Yeah, and also the success rate, but also I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's religion. Scruffy, we may have to kill you. I don't think it's religion like we know it, but I don't know what they think about birth control, right? Different tribes might have different beliefs, but I also know, and I saw it. I think I've told you the story. I was in Cameroon with my niece Trina's foundation, and we were at a place, an orphanage, and one of the kids had shoes on, but he didn't have any socks, and his feet were getting a little bit raw. So one of the people there that was with us, that was volunteering to help him come to this orphanage, and I think we kind of brought presents and helped build out something in the orphanage and stuff. She gave him the socks off her feet, like she had little sneakers on, and she just had those little socks, right? Yeah. And she gave them to him, and instead of that kid going, "Oh, I got these," all of the kids gathered around and they were deciding what day they would get to wear them, right? And so that was kind of like, okay, we're just going to send them a bunch of socks then, right? And for my niece, she was like, this is how people live here. They share, right? And it goes back to reciprocity. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because when somebody gets something, they share with everybody, and that was always for me. That's part of the magic of Africa. That's the approach I see where it goes here, and there are people that just take.
Yeah.
Right. And to me, reciprocity is that. And it doesn't mean you have to give as much as the other, because some people are just better off. It's just the fact of it. But like, even just a bit of appreciation, or, hey, you came and helped do all this, blah, blah, blah. So I made a pie.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like one of those where it's appreciation as opposed to, oh, I owe you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Oh. We might have to cut this part out too.
That's okay.
'Cause, you know,
We'll just
let them calm down.
we'll
Hey,
just let them settle.
hey, you guys.
They'll settle. They'll settle soon.
Here, I'll just put more wine in our glass.
Oh, sounds good.
Hey, Sophie. They're fine. It's okay. It's fine. Oh, look at him. You know, he stands up like that, and I go up and say hello to him, and he wags his tail and goes back in. It's really funny. It's like he's coming by to say hello. I know she's here, buddy.
I am here. I
It's
know.
okay, handsome.
You're fine.
See?
Yeah, there we go.
He's just
Go
checking,
back
man.
and play with your girlfriends.
He must be happy.
It's really
Zoe's
funny when Andrea and Levi leave after
Yep.
they've been here for a little while and they're leaving Zoe with us.
Yeah.
She stays at the back door as they're leaving the
Aw.
front door. She's like, don't make me come with you. I want to stay here. I want to
That's
stay
so
here.
cute.
I know. I kind of like for her ideal life would be for them to stay here forever.
Right. Right.
Because I mean, and she loves them. She absolutely, that's her family for sure.
Yeah.
But she loves it out here so much.
Yeah, but that's just it,
it's
right?
kind of delightful. Okay, so now we're
Okay,
back.
so we're back. Yeah.
I'll fix it.
Okay, so in talking about reciprocity, and I did ask, Roxanne calls ChatGPT my creepy friend, but I asked, and one
He
of the,
is your creepy. They are
They.
your little creepy friend.
yep, yeah, they are my little creepy
They
friend
are.
because we don't know.
No.
So I think one of the things I think is for me reciprocity. It isn't in the big things; it's in the little tiny things, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, for example, you knowing we don't like raisins and butter tarts, so you make some without.
Sure.
Right? Like that. Like there's the little things, or hey, like the other day we were talking, and I said, oh, I have to get some flowers. We have a showing, and Roxanne didn't hesitate. She was like, I have peonies in my garden. You know what I mean? Like
They only
it's-
bloom for a short time. Might as well use them.
But because to me, the reciprocity is this back and forth kindness or thoughtfulness, and I guess that's how, and maybe that's not how some see it, right? But I also think that, like, you know, there's lots of people you have over, and they come and they enjoy themselves and they do stuff, and nobody ever invites you back, and it might be because some people don't entertain, right? Like when I go to Vancouver to see Della, I'll go to her place, but if we were going to have something, we'd order in because she doesn't cook.
Yes.
Right? But
yes.
Della also makes a point of doing other things.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there are some, but it's interesting to me because if someone invited me for dinner and I went, I would feel, and it's not an obligation, but it's a bit of a, oh, we should have you over.
You would want to return the favor.
Yes, but that's just it. Like, it isn't transactional, but
Yeah.
it is kind of like, oh, that was fun. Unless, of course, you left and thought, well, that wasn't fun. I don't want to hang out with them.
So here's a thought. So the idea of a conversation, right? We think about a conversation as a tennis match, right?
Right.
The ball
The
goes
back
here.
and forth, right.
The ball goes there. If you want to continue the conversation, you hit the ball back. If you want to continue the conversation, you hit it back.
Yeah.
And it keeps going
Right.
and it keeps going. If you throw out something, how was your day today? It goes there, fine.
Yeah.
That's not a ball coming back. What did you do? Nothing. Okay, so
That's like talking
you're,
to a teenager.
if you're continually sending
Right.
it out
Right.
and nothing's coming back, then you stop the conversation.
Right.
But it's the same thing I think with social interactions. If you're constantly doing the
The giver,
inviting,
being the
if
giver.
you're constantly the giver, and even if somebody else like you know Della doesn't, she's not. Some people cook and some people don't.
What? No, and it doesn't have to be this for this.
Exactly,
Right?
exactly. So she responds in another way.
Right. In the way that works for her. But
Yes.
but see, I think that's just it. And it is the thing. And I think what my challenge is I grew up in a very social family, right? Like very inviting people over, bringing them in. Like we had lots of people that my parents had lots of friends that were different ages, right? They weren't
Okay.
just their age, right? They had younger friends and older friends, and so there was always this. You know, that's why I sort of do Christmas Eve for all of those who maybe aren't going to see their family till Christmas Day, right? But there was always another place at our table,
Okay.
right? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so I completely see that. And then there are sometimes I have to say where it's like, you know, what if I was here alone? I know you'd drag me over, but
Oh, yeah.
but that's different because we're family. Like, but then there's others where I've made sure they felt included, but I
Right.
don't know that everybody. Like, I don't think it's conscious, right? Or
I think
purposeful.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think early socialization makes a huge difference because for me, when I was growing up, our circles were very distinct. There were church friends and there was family, there weren't any other friends. Those were, I mean, as I was a kid in school, I would have school friends,
but they're all in their category.
They're all in their category, and you visit with these, and you visit with these, and you visit, and there's no overlap.
Right.
Where so for me, like, you know, when we moved in here, and you guys are like, hey, Paul's family's going to be here. Why don't you come over? I'm like, wait, what? You're overlapping family and friends.
Worlds are colliding. Man.
Worlds are colliding. I don't know what to do with this, because that's just not how.
Right.
That's not how I was.
That wasn't the program.
That wasn't the program. So, and I kind of love that. I kind of love the lessening of the boundaries. The I call it the semi-permeable membrane of social relationships. You know, like, and I do see, like, I really wanted to have you guys over yesterday. Like, just come over and say hi, because I love.
It was a little busy.
It was a little busy, and it's different. Like, I know my kids feel that a bit more, and my parents feel that a bit less. And I know for them, various things like hearing issues, mobility issues, all those things make it really hard.
Well, and that would feel intrusive for them, right? Because
it would
it's
feel
family,
intrusive for them,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and honestly, that's the other part of it. I mean, you know, when we do,
I would have loved to have you guys come over. That would have been great. But I knew better.
But the other side is, I think that's just it, because it's if it's going to make the guests uncomfortable, but we are for the most part surrounded by people who are like, oh, interesting people, oh, thank you, nice people, oh my goodness, I'm happy, right? And then you get to be Facebook friends with them, and the thing carries on, and like for Paul's family, his dad is incredibly social, but also, like, it's just like, you like to know the people you care about are surrounded by good people too, right? And you would likely have stuff in common, right? But there are people that, like, they don't like their worlds to collide, and they just don't, and I respect that. I don't always understand it, but I do. I absolutely respect it. But it is an interesting, like, for me, like, the reciprocity, like, is just one of those where you don't want to be a social obligation. So, you know, you came here for a moon dance or for something, and you feel like you have to invite us back. But it is interesting to me that lots of people never invite you back, right? Like it's just it's more that these days than not, and maybe they just see, between our two houses, they see us as the entertainers,
this is
and
the
they
thing
don't
we like
feel,
to do. So they'll and I think that there may be a certain, because you're really good at entertaining, like you're good at it, like you have a gift for that. I for sure less so that way, but with the right support, I'm good. So it's fun.
Is an assistant.
So it's fun, like, for us to do it together. But I know that I wouldn't do it without you. Like, I wouldn't do it without you. And even though yesterday was just my kids and my parents coming over, I was frantic-y before they came, because that's just. And
we just have bad dogs.
And it's part like, my husband is not.
I'm not leaning into this enough. You're probably not going to be able to hear me. We keep forgetting about sound.
Yeah, we do. And so this is, since we've just leaned in, this is a good time to talk about what we're doing next Friday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good segue.
Well, I don't know.
What are we doing next Friday, Roxanne?
We are having, so about a month ago, something like that, there was a fundraiser. You were...
A silent auction.
A silent auction. You were away? Were you away somewhere? I don't know where you were.
No, it was... So typically we do the moon dance that we do annually, and we may still do this year depending on when we move and stuff. But we do it, and somebody pays for it. No, nobody pays for that one. It's not a fundraiser. It's just we pick names from a hat, and we invite some of the community over, because we have an outside deck, and you can dance under the moon. And this year we weren't doing it. So why did I connect it to the fundraiser? I don't know
exactly. Well, there was a fundraiser. So
this was a fundraising.
I might
thing.
Cut some of this out.
Yeah. Okay, let's start over. So let's talk about what we're doing.
There was a fundraiser about a month ago, and I
was for volunteers.
It was a volunteer appreciation night. That's what it was. But it was also a fundraiser. There was a silent auction for various things, and for some reason you guys didn't go. I don't know why.
Because we thought it was a volunteer thing, and we don't really volunteer. Although we do volunteer, because we always did the happy hour.
Totally. Like. Yeah. And we went,
just weren't
even
though honestly, we're selling the house. We weren't in the mood.
I didn't want to go, because that's when I was recovering from food poisoning, and so I went. It was a barbecue, and there were burgers and everything. And I'm like, I didn't eat a thing. It was really pathetic.
Yeah.
I want to just play that up right here. I went, even though I couldn't eat a single thing there. Couldn't even have a drink. I brought my bubbly water along. Felt very sorry for myself.
She was not well.
And she wasn't there. But I felt like I should go. I ended up buying a cool thing, dog treats and stuff. Anyway, silent auctions are always fun. But you guys weren't there.
Didn't you guys give the dog treats as the gift?
I didn't know that, though. I didn't know that Ray had donated those from a staff member at our clinic. And I was just trying to get the bid up.
Right.
I'm like, oh, you guys, these are great.
Yep.
Here, let's do
Yep.
it. And then nobody bid after me. So I ended up getting them. It was fine.
But there was also
there
a
was
brunch.
a brunch. So our friend Pink Beverly had put out a great muffins, mimosas, and merriment. And
Yeah.
she's done this one before.
And it's fabulous.
And because I didn't have her there, I didn't bid on it because brain.
I wasn't like the insider.
Yeah, the insider. She's troublesome. And there was one person who bid on it, but it was under the
minimum.
Under the minimum. So it didn't, and there, I think the right people just weren't there. Anyway, I came home that night and I said, "Oh, Ruth, poor Beverly, like she does this great thing and I know what," and she's like, "Well, why don't you bid on it?" And I said, "What?" And so then we went back to the organizers and we said, "You know what? We'll buy it. We'll buy it. We'll do all you. And let's just do this together." So we together bought this muffins, merriment, and mimosa.
So the community gets a bit.
Community
Beverly's
gets some
costs
money,
get covered.
and we're having us 2 plus 6 or 8, depending on who
says
accepts our
yes.
invite.
Yeah.
Next Friday, we're going to be at Beverly's
Yes.
for a great fun time, and we're calling it Women Empowering Women. We've got some topics we want to talk about.
Hang on, I called it something else.
I thought you called it Women Empowering Women.
I called it, hang on. I'll tell you. Smart, strong, sassy women who know what's what.
Oh, you changed it. Nice.
I did. I showed you. And
That
you
was
said
your-
it's all good.
I don't know.
She doesn't read my stuff now.
I got a lot going on. I have a lot going on right now. Anyway, I love that. Smart, strong, sassy women who know what's what. And we're just going to talk about stuff.
And we've got some cool questions for them.
And Beverly's house is so beautiful.
It's so awesome. And
she's such a good host.
You saw it in the episode that we'll put in the,
Yes.
we'll link to the
Pink
show
Beverly.
notes. Yeah, the Pink Beverly episode. And Pink takes on a whole other meaning with that episode. Just saying, man, holy. Anyway, we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna do some sort of person on the street interviews with people. Get some life takes from these fabulous
Happy
women.
Hour with Ruth and Roxy meets
At Pink
Beverly's Muffins, Merriment, and Mimosa event.
And muffins mean real muffins. Just saying.
Oh my God, you are on fire
Just
today.
gone down that
Gone down that dark hole.
But yes, and it will be really fun because these are women we kind of know and like, but we don't know all of them that well.
Yeah.
Right?
And we're just going to talk about interesting things, like the same kind of things that we talk about here.
Yep.
And people will share what they share. And
Beverly serves really good champagne.
oh yeah, she
does it right.
She's a great host.
She's a class act. That woman.
She's a class act. So that's what's happening next
that's
Friday.
next
and
week.
so you will have that to
Oh
look
my God,
forward
we're
to
at
soon.
1:13, but we have a lot to cut out because
we have some.
We
Yeah,
babbled
we have
and
some.
blah blah blah.
So what do we have to be grateful for right now, Ruth?
Okay, let's think about this. I'm grateful that we have a showing tomorrow, and that it feels a bit targeted. I almost burped too, just saying. So it must be. We're going to blame the bubbles.
The bubbles, come on.
But that we have what looks like a very targeted showing. These people have already sold their house.
Oh.
They've been in the community before.
Okay.
They haven't seen ours.
Oh.
Their realtor and our realtor think this could be a good fit for them. So it's all positive.
Good.
And that the more people that come and see the house, because it is a lovely home and it's a lovely community, right?
It's both those things are true.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful home. You guys have done great things with it. Your backyard is amazing.
Yeah. So
And you have incredible neighbors.
There you go. We'll put
Just
up
saying.
a little link to the house so you guys can just see it. And feel free to share it with everyone you know who wants to move here. Right?
So you're grateful for a good showing.
A good showing. And an offer. Fingers crossed.
Oh,
Sending it
fingers
out to the
crossed.
universe.
Yes,
What are you
yes.
grateful for?
I'm grateful for Ruth over ordering things accidentally.
Okay, I thought I was getting 3 avocados in a bag and there are 6. So we're having
That's
fajitas.
not that much, but so she's
It's
like,
a lot of
We
avocado.
gotta make guacamole. So you want to have fajitas tonight? I'm like, yes. That means I don't have to make anything really, because
Because you're in charge of bubbles.
Because I volunteered for some reciprocity and then ended up not doing anything.
It's okay.
I'm like,
She's
you know
in
what?
charge of bubbles.
Bring everything over to our house. You need to keep your house clean.
Which, as we all know, is not a skill of mine of cooking.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway,
true.
right?
But I did make a banana crater cake.
You did?
You can have that. And
Banana critter cake?
Crater.
Crater
It's called
cake.
crater cake. It's a best of bridge recipe.
Right.
But
See?
you know what? So I threw 3 bananas a week or 2 ago because anyway, my husband's been dealing with his own food poisoning episode, and bananas are a good thing to eat when all you can eat is bananas, rice, applesauce, and toast. The brat diet. Anyway, so we've had a lot of bananas. Some of them went bad. I threw them in the freezer and said to myself, I need to make crater cake, banana coffee cake. And so I did. So I got the 3 frozen ones out of the freezer, forgot to add the one that I had taken from the counter that was also brown and ready to go in. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. I got 1 there and 3 in the freezer. It's perfect. And then I get the thing in the oven and I'm cleaning up and I'm like, well, shoot, there's that banana still sitting there. So I ate it.
Okay, just better than whatever I did one time and forgot to add the sugar to a cake.
Oh.
That was just not pretty.
Oh, yeah.
But so that's not, it'll just be
It's
less
not the
banana.
worst. It's still fine.
Yes.
It's still good. But yeah, so that's what I'm contributing.
Yes, and bubbles.
And
She brought the
bubbles.
bubbles.
Yeah. So
And
that's
you know,
that.
we get to mess up her kitchen.
Totally. Absolutely.
So
do.
it's good.
And what do we want more of, Ruth?
More happy hours and for Jimmy Kimmel to call us back.
Jimmy, we're waiting.
Jimmy, we're waiting.
We're waiting.
We're you know what? We're Canadians, so we're not going to bother
We're
you
gonna
too
harass
much.
you. No.
But, you know, we're just going to nudge a
Just
little
a
bit.
gentle nag.
Yeah.
Just a gentle nag.
Gentle.
Yeah.
Anyway, what do we want less of, Rox?
Less bullshit. Less
Yeah,
bullshit.
A lot less bullshit, man.
Just a lot less.
A lot less of a lot of bullshit that's out in the world right now.
So thanks for hanging with us today,
Yep.
you guys, and we will hopefully see
Yes,
you
so the
very
next
soon.
and the next podcast episode
Ooh.
will be the one from
Yes.
the Mimosas and Muffins at
Yes.
Pink Beverly's.
Muffins, mimosas, and merriment. Get it together, Ruth.
Muffins and Mimosas and Merriment at Pink Beverly's.
At Pink Beverly's.
There you go. Okay,
We'll
have a
see
good
you
weekend,
soon.
everybody.